All right, let's we've got a bit of community stuff going on. Obviously a couple of things to talk about, a couple of sneaky things that I don't know if you guys have realised the sneaky that snuck its way into the sneaky chat. And yeah, so let's just kick off. I think we'll dive on first over to Sam, and he can give us an update around any partnerships and a few things I know that he's got in the works.
Sure, yeah. I would love to share some updates. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but me and Joe, we are sort of focusing on getting partners onboarded on L1X. By partners, I do not mean just marketing collabs or any joint campaign stuff like that. By partners, I mean the protocols that would be very much interested in building on Layer 1X. So I think we've been having meetings since the last 4 or 5 weeks, and we have been averaging between me and Joe. I think we have been averaging 8 to 10 calls a week, and we have reached out to close to I think 450 or 500 protocols. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. So that is what we have been doing so far, and the results have been good so far. We have talked to some interesting protocols, a few layer 1 blockchains. I definitely can't speak any names right now because all of it is in the works, and we are still finalizing the fine details. And as far as I think marketing collabs, I have also been talking to some interesting people, and we are soon. Hopefully, we will soon have an AMA with some big names in the space that are live on the ZK Sync. Of course, I can't still share the names, but you guys will soon know about it. It should be in the end of this month, but yeah, we'll surely share the details here once everything is finalized.
Yeah, so obviously some massive things coming up, and as Sam said, reaching out to so many projects. Of course, that means that there's plenty of fruit around, and plenty of things happening in the background in terms of growth as well. So this is and something to remember for everybody is that we're still in mainnet beta. We're still I suppose getting the groundwork, getting the foundations, making sure all the bits and pieces and the puzzle pieces go into the right places. So I feel like we're underselling how much this could ramp up between now and January, obviously when we are at proper mainnet. So lots of really big things coming, and I think this is a perfect time to segue to Red with some updates for uh, we'll just go updates. Red, you've got a list. You've got a list there. Go for it. I won't steal the thunder.
Oh, I don't know about Thunder, but well, today is later on today in the office. They're having the L1X app launch celebration today, which will be a great time for those in attendance, and they'll be officially that'll kind of be the official launch of it. Everything now has been for us to basically test and work through in our community itself, so it hasn't really been pushed outside of the community. So that'll be kind of the official launch, and they'll probably do some announcements and maybe some recordings of it. And let's see what else we got. We got the Australian Crypto Convention, and that's the 11th and 12th. And actually, I'll let that go back to you, Joe, to talk about that.
Excellent. Yeah. So we do have. Obviously, that's just over a week away now, which is really, really coming up fast. It seems like it was a month ago, and then 2 months, and now it's sort of it's days away now, literally days away, and very excited to announce. And I won't dox them at this stage, but we do have a really strong team of community members going down to be a part of the street team. So our very first street team to be at the event. So we've got plenty of fun things lined up for us all to do and us to get in front of people. There's meant to be 15,000 people going to the convention. Obviously, if we can get in front of even half of those, and that's a massive boost to just the general ecosystem and what we've got on offer. And I think it is purely just getting out there and showing people exactly the capability that L1X has, which is the perfect segue. I don't know if any of the people in this chat have been sneakily looking at the L1Xapp.com in the last 24 hours-ish, but you will notice that there are some things that you can do in there now, and I've been playing around with it this morning myself, sending bits and pieces of stuff all over the place. So whether that be from Binance to AVAX to Matic, like you can have a play around in there now, and it's all working, fam. It's good news. So I highly recommend everybody have a little play and jump on and test out some of the swap features, test out some of the staking. Have a play around with all the functionality and how it works, and keep in mind, obviously, it's still a growing process. There's still things that we're working out and making it the best interface, I guess, for you guys to be able to interact with. So if there's anything you find where you're like, oh, geez, I wish this was better, or if there's even stuff where you're like, this was the best experience ever, please share that with us so that we can pass that on and make sure it gets, pushed up so that we can, as I said before, make it the best experience for the app that we could possibly have. And I know lots of time's going on, lots of time is being spent on the UX and the UI and all the functionality itself, but we need also your input and your feedback to give us, insight as to how you guys are using it as well. So I think, massive news if you haven't seen it yet, but the swap is live. You can go on there and have a play around with it. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but it's definitely there if you want to have a quick play before we throw down and let the world know that it's go time. I see we have LMFG. You're here for a chat with the community. Good morning, sir. I can't hear you if you are speaking. Maybe just connecting.
Yeah, while LMFG sorts out his mic, I just want to add what Joe said. So remember, guys, you are the early birds here. You guys, the good thing about this is that you guys can sort of control the direction of where this thing goes. If you guys see something that you don't like, or if the UI isn't smooth, or whether there are any bugs or not, feel free to reach out to me, Jorianto, or Red, or either of our great moderators. You can use the suggestions channel. If you are someone who doesn't like to speak in the public, you can open a ticket, and Charlie or Super Beans will get in touch with you, and we will take it from there. LMFG, is your mic working now?
Yeah, I think you should hear me now.
Yep, loud and clear, sir.
All right. Yeah, I just have a question on when this goes live, since there's not going to be, the tremendous amount of nodes and everything running on this. What do you guys have to handle this inbound? Let's say 100 million people try to come into this thing in January. You go live. You guys have servers there. What kind of connectivity you have, and how do you slow this down without having failed transactions? See, I'm old school, so I could slow anything down and it would still come through, no issues. With blockchain, that's an issue. That's how we get failed transactions, from what I'm understanding. So how are you guys going to handle if you have this crazy influx and you don't have enough nodes out there to handle all of this?
That is a great technical question. So even just to put things in perspective, right? If we have a just as an example, and like I said, I'm not a tech guy, I'm not a dev, but we have at the current push through rate up to 100,000 transactions per second. And if we look at something like Visa or MasterCard, I think theirs is somewhere around the 7,000. And so if they're handling, for example, the entire world transactions on Visa, and it's capable for it to do so with all the payment rails that they're currently running on the infrastructure that they have, and they're only at 7,000, I feel that our output of 100,000 is going to be sufficient enough to do the job in the short term. And that is also with keeping in mind that as we move through this beta phase, as we get closer towards that mainnet launch, we'll have a lot more functionality come online in terms of obviously people being able to run their own nodes, external node running, all that sort of stuff that we'll have that's plugged into the system as we get closer to that proper mainnet. So, like I said, still being in beta, we're upping the functionality progressively, realizing that we can only do so much at a time in order to be functional and secure and all that sort of stuff, and making sure we're doing everything the right way, because better to do it slow as smooth as fast. And as we get towards that mainnet launch, we'll have a lot more functionality, and all those things will come online. We'll have the depth of infrastructure as well, in terms of it not just being nodes run purely by us. It'll be out decentralized as well, with plenty of node runners all around the place. But also knowing that our throughput of 100,000 transactions per second is also very high in terms of what the output would be that is required for the system we're running. Does that sort of make sense from a non-tech guy's perspective?
Yes, in a way, and then it's still, see, I worry about bandwidth, okay, and how you're getting this done. And from what I see, pretty much the only thing that fails with blockchain is very, very not, let's say, not often is it a code issue. It's a timing issue, where something, it got hung up somewhere and it hangs there, and then it tries to go through, 10 minutes later, and that block has already been closed, so that's a failed transaction. So
Yep.
my thing is the bandwidth coming in, and then the machines that are running it. So for me, I would say, if I'm going to cut this loose, I'm going to make sure I got some kick-ass servers and some major bandwidth. So if there's no nodes out there, or nodes are failing, I can still make all those transactions. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Again, I have a lot of learning to do here, and it's amazing what blockchain is. I wish I had this back in 2004. I'd have my own chain. I would. I would have forked off L1X. I probably would have forked off Vet first, played with that. And this is just so amazing. I just can't believe that this is coming
Uh,
here. This is,
yeah. So,
stop.
yeah, LMFG. A couple things to note is the time to finality. When we're talking seconds instead of minutes and hours and stuff. It could afford more bandwidth, if so you're saying as far as that, and there's only one contract instead of 8 to 14, and things like that. There's basically, you approve sending, and you approve receiving on the other end. So there's the time to do that is so much faster to create those blocks. So that helps in your latency and your bandwidth there.
Another
And
thing,
that's what's so amazing to me, because guys, I put a small circuit over to Taiwan and split it all over the place from the States, California, and we're talking on video on this thing. And I'm going back in 2007 and 2008. I would need half the bandwidth now. Is what I'm looking at.
something else
And
to
still
note
be able
too.
still be able to pull that off.
Mhm.
Yeah, something else to note.
90 milliseconds. 90 milliseconds, and then after that, they say you're dead. We pushed it to 150, 180 milliseconds, and we were still fine. So now what blockchain is doing is just okay. All right, I'm dropping off. I'll go off.
Oh, good. It's good to have questions as well, and obviously it gets some of the information I think that maybe we don't really think of it as forefront or important to us at the time. Like, so if we use Ethereum as an example, and like you saying that a transaction not included in a block or something like that, and you get a failed transaction. So if we look at Ethereum, why that tends to happen as well is if you aren't paying enough gas, then you're not high enough in the respective order of desirable transactions, let's say, for the miners to want to put you in the block type thing. So you're a lot further down the list, and therefore your transaction cannot go through in that block or the next block or whatever, and then you get failed transactions. Because L1X has a defined transaction cost, it isn't about who pays more or who pays less to get into an order or a queue or anything like that. It's queued in terms of timestamp. So it would go through as the transaction goes through, because it's irrelevant whether this transaction's approved or that transaction's approved as cost to the node. So it goes through as it's submitted. I hope that sort of makes some sense. And like I said, just speaking from a non-tech perspective as to what some of the differences there would be as to why I suppose we have a more reliable sense of confirmation chain that's linear as opposed to cherry picked. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Big time. Yes, you're making sense, brother. Great. I love it. Thank you very much. Hey, you guys keep it up. And like I said, your Discord support is off the wall. One of the best projects that I've been involved with. And Godspeed, brothers.
Awesome, and as always, we appreciate having you here, and same with everybody else in the community. You know, we see you guys in there being dedicated, being a part of it, and obviously, even as you guys get more knowledge, even helping out with some of the questions that come through as well. And this isn't the first time, even from people from outside perspective, that come into our Discord and feel like we're very active, like we're very here, and that's not just us from a mod perspective, but everybody engaging as well. So. Once again, always grateful for you guys to be here on the journey, and you know, giving the time of day to continue to be a part of it as well. So it's a really big thing to have you guys here, and we appreciate it. I think from my end of updates, that's pretty much it. This isn't a super long one. I don't think too many of the team are joining. I don't see if only there was if only CryptoNaut was here for me to dox him immediately, I totally would. But I don't see him hiding anywhere. We do have Bunny Arrow, I see, hiding in there. Maybe she wants to come up for a quick update. I don't know. But I think that's from my end, that's the updates. Obviously, next week, maybe we'll even have some live video content or something from down at the ACC. Or maybe we'll just jump on a quick live chat in the Discord or something that's impromptu. Obviously, nothing specific lined up for like in the calendar. But know that we'll be down there. We'll be doing a lot of activities. We're getting a lot of people in front of the technology as well. And obviously, we have Kevin speaking, so lots of stuff happening next weekend. That's very exciting. Is anything else from you, Sam, Red?
Yeah, just one thing. Joe, since you'll be at the ACC event, are we going to see some L1X Power Rangers?
It would be rude not to. I haven't told the guys yet, but the uniform is those morph suits, and we're just going to paint them like really, really risque paint on them so that we can get the most attention, because I want to see Crypto Psycho in a full morph suit, L1X themed, just crashing around into people. That is my career goal.
I do know that Cryptonaut loves those latex suits. So yeah, definitely works.
I don't know if CryptoNaut's making the flight down. It's not a quick hop, skip, and a jump for him anymore, like it might have been from Perth. But to be fair, it's not really a hop, skip, and a jump from Perth either. It's basically a 70-hour flight. It's nearly cheaper to go around the other way around the world.
Yeah, that's the thing with Australia.
Classic Australia.
I'm seeing some familiar faces in the community. Bronx, Heather, Grover, Gary, Albita. Do you guys maybe want to jump on the stage, share anything with us or the community? We would love to hear from you guys.
see Bronx is over here trolling Chief. I'd love to see Chief in a Power Ranger suit as well. In for real, I don't foresee it happening. He doesn't seem keen every time I talk to him. He gets a little bit more bitter and bitter about it every time. So maybe that can be our gift for him if we just go out and buy one secretly on maybe Friday night and we can present it to him on Saturday. I think that'd be the best ever. So just mine, happy to close that out. But like I said, if there's anybody wants to jump up, like Sam said, and even just say anything about the community, any feedback or anything like that, you're more than welcome to do so. We'll just drag this on for another 2 minutes while we wait to see if anybody wants to jump up. But apart from that, from my end, that's everything. Like I said, if you want to have a go with the swap, I've just been using small amounts while we wait for additional liquidity, but it's more so for me. You can actually test the product. You can see that it works. You can see the chain is doing everything that it promises to do. That's obviously the big thing. I think seeing is believing, and it's there ready to go. So if everybody wants to go and do a couple of 1 cent transactions, they do work. So just as an example, I've done one from Matic to AVAX and one from Matic to BSC, and for like 5 cents each, and that totally works. So by all means, get in there and have a play around with it. It's the fun journey is just beginning. That's it for me. Sam, Red.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to mention as well is just that as this app is developing out, I mean, it's going to be huge with everything in there. To be able to track your referrals through the experts program, your staking through the X perks, Launchpad and everything else. I mean, basically pretty much the whole foundation site will end up living on the app itself. So all that's in development. It takes time. We're definitely on the cusp of technology, and you can experience that yourself on these cross-chain swaps that just take seconds, and it's just a amazing tech and further development. So be patient. With everything that they add, it may add a little more time, and so some of the delays are actually improvements, and just doing something that nobody else is doing. So we appreciate the community. You guys are great. Everything's going to be kicking off with marketing and everything else. Once we get closer, to launch and have other projects building into the DApp. The L1, I guess it'd be the XDApp or XApp. And, within the project, we'll have some great projects to showcase. We'll have games and, help digital identities and a lot of other features that are going to be involved in there. And I won't steal Cody's thunder. I'll let him make some of those announcements when he's back on. But he's got a lot of good things in the works for it as well. So that's pretty much all I have on it.
Just as an aside, in the amount of time Randy was, Red was just talking there, I've managed to make a swap and stake some BNB. So there you go. It all works. It's all very exciting.
Are you saying I'm long-winded, or you just was able to do something that quick?
You can take it however you want. But yeah, I think the big thing is, it's up there. It's working. Have a play around. Like I said, if you're still testing things out, obviously, just keep it down in the sense and have a good test of it. We want to hear your feedback. We want to see you guys jump in there and obviously give us I really love this feature, or I would like it if this was like this. It's the perfect time for us to get like I said, that raw data from you, so we can pass it back up through the team and everything like that. So, all the feedback is appreciated.
And get some liquidity in there.
Yeah, that's what we need, liquidity, because it just makes all the swaps smoother, etc. Obviously, you can stake stuff in there. There is. Let me just check here. The top reward in terms of APR is 21% at the moment for USDT. And I believe, to answer some questions from earlier, the rewards are paid in L1X, and it's done on a monthly basis. I saw that in the chat earlier. Somebody'd asked that, so I just wanted to clarify that as well.
Yeah, I believe that's so. And for 3 months you get like 9%, so that's like 3% a month. So even if that'll get us kickstart, get that liquidity build up, and let everyone get their feet wet in it, and then that can build up as we go along as well.
So, it's just a question in the chat from G Heaven. Can you send your tokens from a CEX to your L1X wallet? Yes, if you're using the correct. You just have to make sure you're using the correct address style. So, if it's, as an example, in your L1X wallet, there'll be an EVM compatible one, there'll be a Solana compatible one. You just got to make sure that the address is the appropriate address, just to be safe. Usually, it'll tell you if it's compatible in the CEX anyway. So you can, at the moment, for the L1X app.com, you can connect to your MetaMask with that, but that's the same MetaMask you could, in theory, import into your L1X wallet as well. So in terms of being able to have multiple interoperability across wallets and all sorts of stuff, you can do it all, basically, at the moment, with the services provided. Even though we're only connecting to the L1X app.com at the moment through MetaMask, you can still technically have it on both. I hope that makes some sense.
Yeah, Joe, and while you're at it, can you share with the community how many seconds it took for you to do that swap? Crypto Guru in the chat wants to know how long did it took to do that swap?
That is a great question. I'll just see if it actually tells me in the timestamp. I don't know if it's saying 51. I don't know if it's actually giving me the time there, if it's giving me the time to complete. Great question. Because I didn't have a timer on, I don't know. So, but yeah, like I said, just in that time we were chatting, obviously that was the going through and doing all the verifications and the checks and all that sort of stuff, and authenticating on all chains. Just to note, the L1X global transaction is very fast. Like it's effectively immediately. And then depending on what chain it's pushing through, it takes a little longer. I noticed that with AVAX it took slightly longer than it did with BSC, because obviously we have to interact with the other chains as well, so it's dependent on their throughput to confirm on that chain as well, if that makes sense. But the staking is effectively the moment you press the button on the MetaMask, it's done, because it's all L1X interactable.
Yeah, and there was a total of 3 transactions. You got the send. Well, it was all under one, but I mean there was 3 parts to it. You have the amount sent, the fee to the I think the transaction fee, and then the actual receipt of the token.
Yeah, perfect. So I encourage everybody to have a little play around. It's quite enjoyable actually seeing things that you've waited for works. Like you get to open the present on Christmas. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. I say that as if I've done more than apart from entertain the crowd. So that's everything from my end. I'm pretty sure that's everything from Sam and Red. Let's wrap this up. And everybody can get back to doing stuff. Like I said, have a test with it. Obviously, we'll be in the chats if you need anything. If you're having troubles with anything, just reach out. I like to think we've got some of the very best ticket answerers and mods in the whole world, in the whole crypto sphere. So anything you need, just jump in there and they'll be able to look after you. Once again, thanks everybody for joining. We are so excited to have you here, and we are right on the way now to things really ramping up. So get excited. Get in the rocket. It's go time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Bye-bye.